Hello and welcome to Best of the Bets. I'm Christina Nicolaides and we're here to look at the best betting opportunities for this weekend's football action, including the Premier League, FA Cup and some of the European games as well. I have our regular guests with me. I have Sam Dymond, who's our football expert and editor of bestofthebets.com. How are you doing, Sam?
Very well, thank you.
Good. And Gareth Walker, who is our bookie extraordinaire. How are you doing, Gareth?
Very well, thank you, Christina.
Good. We've got 5 Premier League games to look at, but we are going to start with the FA Cup. We're going to start with Millwall versus Wigan.
Millwall are 4.4 to win in 90 minutes. The draw is 3.5. And Wigan to win the match in 90 minutes are 1.8.
Suddenly, people seem to be a bit down on Wigan after the last 2 games. Expected them to beat 10-man QPR after that sending off early in the game, and they only just scraped past Norwich. So all of a sudden, people are thinking that Wigan are not quite the fluent team that we saw against Everton in the quarter-finals, but I still quite like them. They're still getting points in games, 1-5, drawn 1 of the last 7 in all competitions. Yeah. And in cup games this season, especially away from the DW Stadium, they've really excelled. Millwall, I actually quite like Millwall. I sort of go and see them now and again, but they've really lacked a cutting edge. Struggle since Darius Henderson and Chris Wood have left the club for goals. So I just think if we can get a goal early in this game, it could end up being quite another comprehensive victory.
Well, I'm not as confident about Wigan's chances for this match. I do think that they will edge the game. I think one of the fascinating things about this is that Millwall and Wigan have actually got quite a rivalry which dates back to 1999 and the Auto Windscreen Shields final, when Wigan scored a very controversial goal in the last minute of injury time to nick the game, and there was a handball in the build-up, and Millwall fans have never forgotten that. So 14 years on, this is the chance for revenge. I think the problem they've got is that they're not really in form. I don't think that they've got enough to beat Wigan. I don't think it'll be a big win though. I think Wigan will just edge this game, and I'd be looking at 1-0, which is priced at 10.6. I think it could well be a fairly cagey game, and then Wigan will score at some stage and then soak up anything that Millwall can throw at them.
Yeah. I'm more bullish than that. Millwall haven't scored against Wigan in the last 3 meetings and in 6 of the last 8. So as I say, if I see Wigan getting an early goal, I could see a scoreline 3-0, but I take probably Wigan to win on the handicap -1.
Okay, so 3-0 to Wigan is priced at 11.9. Or the bet there, Wigan -1, which is on the 3-way handicap, so Wigan have to win by 2 or more goals. Yeah. That's priced at 2.9. For me, going fairly cagey, under 2.5 goals is 1.9, or 0-1 goals on the goal crazy market. That's priced at 3.45.
Big plus for Wigan that Jordi Gomez is fit to play after nearly being decapitated by Bobby Zamora last week.
That child was very upset.
OK, so you've heard what the boys have had to say about this particular game. It's now time to hear from Mike Holden.
Millwall's form in the Championship in the second half of the season hasn't been much to write home about, but I do think there's a squeak of value in backing them to beat Wigan at Wembley on Saturday. Primarily because Wigan's run up to this point has largely been under the radar, and I'm not entirely convinced that being cast as hot favourites for this game will sit well with them. They've made wholesale changes in earlier rounds and kind of sucker punch teams, and with Millwall they've got a dogged and determined style that suits them, particularly away from home, and I do see them playing this as an away game, looking to pick Wigan off with a set piece if anything, because they don't create much but they're very tenacious in the way they go about the business, and I don't think they'll give up much space for Wigan to play the football I'd like to play, certainly not in behind the back 4.
So Mike's going for Millwall, 4.4 they are to win in 90 minutes.
OK. We are going to move on now to the Premier League. We're going to start with Everton versus QPR. QPR doomed going down, but both teams drew last weekend. Can we expect the same for this match?
For this one, Everton 1.45, draw 4.5, and QPR a 7.9. I don't think they will stay up, but I wouldn't necessarily say they're doomed.
Yeah, doomed maybe slightly over the top at this stage, because there is recent history to suggest it's not all over just yet. They're 7 points from safety, but they've got the same record as Fulham had in 2008 when they pulled off a great escape to stay up. But now they've got Bobby Zamora suspended for 3 games, which is going to be a blow, because him and Remy together have looked sort of quite a compact partnership. Yeah. Remy on his own up front did score a wonderful goal last week, but hasn't looked quite as threatening when he's led the line. So you may expect someone like Jay Bothroyd to come in, play alongside him like they did at Southampton when they won. I think there'll be goals in this one, because you just can't trust either side's defence really. So I think Everton will edge it, but I quite like over 3.25 goals.
So over 3.25 goals, that's priced at 2.5. So you're looking basically for 4 goals in the match for a great return. If there's 3 goals in the match, it's not a disaster for your bet with that. The way I'm looking here is definitely for goals. I think it could be a very cagey start to the game.
Yeah.
QPR showed really throughout January that they can be very solid defensively, and when they went on that run and there was a lot of goalless games, clean sheets after that debacle against Liverpool. But then since then, sort of February and March, they had to be far more positive because draws weren't enough.
Yeah.
So they've been piling forward, and Harry is a great one for throwing a load up front.
Yeah.
So I'd be going over on the goals, and I'd also stress, if anyone's looking at betting in play on this game, that don't lose heart. If the game's goalless at half-time, keep the faith. There'll be goals in the second half. Based on that, second half to have the most goals is priced at 2.05. I think the game will really open up. Neither side want a draw here. Draw's no good to either side, so it'd be a bit of a fluke if it does end up as a draw. Both teams to score at 1.85, I think that's absolutely massive here. Contender for bet of the weekend.
QPR, 5 of their last 7 games have gone over 2.5. 4 of the last 7 have gone over 3.5. So I think we're all in agreement there.
And QPR's last 5, all both teams to score as well. So.
Okay. We're going to move on to Arsenal versus Norwich.
Arsenal 1.25, draw 6.4. And Norwich are 13.1. They've taken some big scalps at home, but not really on the road.
They nearly took a scalp at Arsenal last season in this fixture, 3-0, I think, wasn't it? It was a thrilling game. And they, of course, they beat Arsenal at Carrow Road earlier this season, which started that 10-match unbeaten run where we all thought, wow, well, this Norwich team's one to keep an eye on.
So
but
where's it all gone wrong?
I think goals has been a problem. We've said that on several occasions. They've won 1 of the last 15. It's just 4 points off the relegation zone now.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to see them getting a result at the end.
That win was against they did beat Everton. It was a good team to beat.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, that was a late turnaround.
So do you see this potential for a draw against Arsenal then?
I think they'll try and frustrate Arsenal, but Arsenal seem to have hit form at the right time, as you say. Won 3 games in a row and 6 of the last 7.
Arsenal just seem to have been playing teams that have really good time to play. The potential tricky trips to West Brom and Swansea.
I have a feeling you're going to be saying this at the end of the season.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there's something gone wrong with the fixtures because they seem to have a fairly straightforward game every week. I can't understand it.
They failed to score in 1 of the last 16 games, and that was when they were down to 10 men against Man City very early on in the match.
Against the big teams, they've looked completely outclassed, but they have been dominating against the weaker teams.
It's a good trait to have, really, if you want to finish sort of full.
It is, and they're yet to lose a game this season where they've scored first. I think it's 18 games this season they've scored first, and they've won 16 of those and drawn 2 of them. So if they get their noses in front, they're not being pegged back. I really like the unders, all the under angles for this game. If you look at under 2.5 goals, that's priced at 2.5. I like that. Under 2 and 3/4 goals is 2.25. Under 3 goals is 2.05, whichever one of those. So yeah, that's definitely the way I'll be going.
Yeah, I'm on a similar line. I quite like both teams not to score. So if either side draw a blank in this game, that lands. It's 1.8, but I think it's quite a solid bet.
Okay, we're going to move on to Reading versus Liverpool. You never know what you're going to get with Liverpool. You never know whether they're going to be on form or not on form. So is this a chance for Reading?
A draw with West Ham highlights just how inconsistent they are, isn't it?
They're 7.4 if you think that they can do it. The draw's 4.6, Liverpool 1.45.
Reading have lost the last 7 now. They've equalled their worst run from earlier in the season. 12 games without a clean sheet as well. Bottom and 8 points from safety. So I almost think that Nigel Atkins is almost looking towards next season now. He probably won't come out and say as such, but I think that's very much the case. Defence just looks a shambles, really. 63 goals they've conceded this season, and 17 in these last 7 games that they've lost. So you can see sort of Liverpool, if they actually turn up and click, as they have done in certain games against strugglers, they could really run right. And an angle I like here is you see the usual suspects, Coutinho, Suarez, Sturridge, all sort of leading the market to score first. But I really like Glenn Johnson, who's been impressive for sort of club and country in the last week. Gets forward, he's gone close on a couple of occasions. Only 1 goal this season, but he's averaged in, I think, a shot and a half a game. So I quite like him as a goal scorer angle here.
So you can go any time for that. He's 6 to score at any time.
Any time. I like Glenn Johnson anytime goal scorer, but if you were going to back him first goal scorer, well, I wouldn't say no. Yeah,
that's 21. So yeah, both worth a shout. I do like both those bets because I just think Liverpool are going to absolutely wipe the floor at Reading. Liverpool battered West Ham, didn't score a goal, but was all plenty going forward. We've seen that previously with the game against West Brom as well, where they completely dominated but couldn't find the breakthrough. But I think this will be different. I think Reading's defence is just not anywhere near organised enough. 5-0 is priced at 26, 5-1 is priced at 23, 6 goals or more in the game, 8.5. Or if you want a safer option, go for goals over 3.5 goals in the game, 2.35. But I think Liverpool are just different class to Reading. 1.45 away in a Premier League game is pretty short, and not normally something I'd be keen on. But I just can't see any other outcome here. I'm really bullish. I actually think Liverpool are going to tear Reading apart.
We'll see what the results say next week. Aston Villa versus Fulham.
2.2 Aston Villa are to win this game. Draws 3.4 and Fulham are 3.4.
Yeah, Villa have gone 2 points clear now of the relegation zone. It's good news and a good time for this fixture to come along, because Fulham have got a really rotten record at Villa Park. Failed to score in 7 of the last 11 visits to Villa Park. So is this the time for Villa's clean sheet? I think it probably could be.
Well, no, I don't buy it. Villa's last clean sheet, as well documented, December the 8th. And I think Fulham have got enough quality to get on the score sheet.
Would you think, though, would you be more tempted to go kind of under 2.5 goals? Can you see there being many goals in there?
The last 3 games between these two, and I've been at all of them, have been very cagey, very low scoring. I think just 2 goals in those last 3 games.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it will be low.
I just think that there'll be a bit of a difference in this game, that Villa are absolutely desperate for points. Fulham are, well, they're safe. They're playing for a top half finish. So, but will they have the same intensity as Villa? I think it could be a draw actually. This one each, 6.6 or 2-2, 13 maybe. Villa have got some real quality up front. Make no mistake. I mean, Benteke has 10 goals in 12 he's scored now.
With Villa, it just doesn't always click.
So Villa are getting goals, but as I said, defensively they're not great. So I actually think it could be a fairly entertaining game. Both teams to score at 1.7. Sam doesn't sound keen on that, but I like that at 1.7 for this one.
Okay. We are going to move on to Southampton versus West Ham. One of your favourite new teams.
Not one of them, the favourite team. I just love watching them. I think they're still underrated. They're 1.85 to win this. The draw's 3.7 and West Ham are 4.4.
They did absolutely wipe the floor with Southampton at Upton Park earlier in the season, but that was when Saints were showing a very naive side to life in the top flight. I think it could be a bit of a role reversal of this game. I'd quite like Southampton to give them a bit of a hiding.
I'm very keen on Southampton. Slightly different angle for reasoning why, actually. West Ham's away record is atrocious. 9 goals they've scored away from home and 12 on the road. But they've done well at home, and I'm sort of always looking for that. If a team's got a fantastic home record and really rubbish away record, or vice versa, I'm always looking that should even itself out at some stage a little bit.
I've been watching Fulham for 10 years. It doesn't even itself out.
It will do. It will do. The key stat, which is great that I've had this week: 6 times this season in the Premier League that a team has had 8 shots on target against a side, and the side has kept a clean sheet. 4 of those occasions have been West Ham, so they've been mighty fortunate there. Yeah. All manner of ways of getting with Southampton. Saints to win by 2 or more. It's priced at 3.05. The 1.85 is still a very reasonable price. It's actually been backed in a bit this week.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll definitely.
Well, I'll give you another stat about West Ham's away record. The fact they've lost every single away game this season where they've conceded the first goal. I think it's been 10. So you kind of get the feeling if Southampton do get ahead early, then they could well crumble.
Okay. Now it's your turn. We're hearing from you. And pick of the tweets I have chosen is at TopDame1, who says Reading to draw at home to Liverpool, Gareth.
Absolutely horrible.
Well, good to see that our Danish viewers are getting involved, from customers from Mermaid Bet. Reading to draw with Liverpool, 4.6. It's not a bet that I personally agree with, but good luck to Top Den.
Okay.
He'll need it.
Best bet, Gareth, for Saturday?
Well, it may not come as a surprise to people that have watched previous shows, but I'm going to go for Southampton at home to West Ham at 1.85. They are just far, far, far superior.
Sam, best bet?
Yes, well, stop me if you've heard this one before, but I'm going to go Aston Villa to beat Fulham.
And my best bet for Saturday, Millwall to beat Wigan.
You old romantic, 4.4.
Okay. If you want to place your bet on any of Saturday's game, our website is heavenbet.com. You can watch this show back, Danish viewers, on the website footy.dk, and you can place your bets on mermaidbet.dk. Now join us after the break when we look at Sunday's games, we look at the FA Cup, Premier League, and we look at some of the European games. See you then.
Heavenbet.com, a new betting site from Poker Heaven.